Other interesting cultural news, you have Elon Musk doing a little Twitter poll to see and ask should he reincorporate Tesla into Texas and get the heck out of Delaware. Now, this comes as Delaware recently decided to break a contract in which he literally achieved the impossible and should have been paid properly, in my opinion. He and the shareholders agreed to a contract, and he said if Elon hits certain milestones, we will pay him, I believe, $56 billion compensation package, which again, they're claiming they agreed to it partially because they thought it was impossible and improbable. And the shareholders, all the parties agreed to this. And now that Elon delivered on it, now they don't want to pay him. And a judge in Delaware said, oh yeah, you don't need to pay him. So he's wondering, where do I go from here? Because a lot of people are speculating there certainly might be some political bias in this, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So he asked on Twitter, quote, should Tesla change its state of incorporation to Texas, home of its physical headquarters, unquote. And in 24 hours, excuse me, it got 138,000 votes and 15.2 million views, 34,000 likes. And of the 138 votes, 87.3% said yes, while only 12.7% said no. Which, again, I can't think. Let me see here. The only detriment, I think, would be the income tax. Let me see here. For corporate. Let's see. Oh, no. It looks like federal taxable, Delaware, corporate. Let me see here. So the tax burden would increase because I know Texas is at the franchise tax if you have a business that exceeds, I believe, is $1.2 or $1.3 million of revenue. You have to pay an additional tax on it. So there might be some tax implications, but it'd be interesting to see the pros and cons. I would suspect overall there'd be more pros to have it reincorporated into Texas. And knowing the state of Texas, they'd probably throw him some incentives to further kind of help sway that decision. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Now, going to the comments section, one of the first ones comes from Luke Zaleski, who is very popular on X Twitter in terms of seemingly all the political topics and all the cultural topics that I follow. He is always there, which I appreciate, even if I don't agree with him, because he is much more, I would say, of a contrarian in terms of he's more politically far left. When you see a lot of these responses, most of them are in the middle of the right. So, I don't agree with what he says, still appreciate it. So I'll read his comment. He says, quote, just a reminder, Elon is a right-wing media mogul with massive interests in various fields that require government oversight and regulation, who's openly and not so openly utilizing his giant personal social media state news platform to serve his own personal and political purposes, unquote. Now, you could argue how mentally vacuous that is, but it did get 451 likes. So a lot of people agreed with what he was saying. Now, using his social media to serve his own purposes, which is he arguing that he's doing this to sway public opinion about him or bringing public knowledge to this? I mean, this is a huge article even on LinkedIn and other social media outlets that the news of this incident is already out. So again, I'm not sure how much water there is to that, so to say. Paul Zazupa says, quote, everything is bigger and better in Texas. I'm quoting 264 likes and hashtag facts. Other top comments from the red-headed libertarian. She says, quote, the nose, and it's a gif of, what is it? Jim Carrey's movie where he's a slow man with a bowl haircut. I forget the film. I never actually seen it. Truth be told, there's a lot of classics I've never actually seen. I believe it's Dumb and Dumber, and the GIF is, or the text is, so you're telling me there's a chance. They got 231 likes. Let's see here. The Right Angle News Network says, quote, every state should change their state of incorporation to a red state, unquote, getting 3.3 thousand likes. One of the most viral responses. DeFranzer Meme says, quote, build a giant Tesla facility that extends along the entire border of Texas, but actually Tesla coils menacing arcs nearing the moat, unquote. I got 4.6 thousand likes. Someone else did a GIF. Jason Jones said, what's not to love about Texas? And it is a breakdown of all the U.S. states. It looks like all the red states are the unwoke guy, and all the blue states are the woke crying cartoon. And then the state face is just the Chad face, which, hard to argue with that. They got 1.4 thousand likes. Tim Young says, quote, this goes without saying, welcome to Texas, getting 2.9 thousand likes. Lex Friedman replied saying, quote, yes, good choice, getting 4.4 thousand likes. Let's see here. Shibitu Shuto Nakamoto said, quote, I think moving to a state that likes business instead of a state that actively hates capitalism is probably good. Getting 1.4 thousand likes. Sawyer Merritt says, quote, are there any major downsides in doing that, unquote, getting 1,000 likes. Scrolling down to a couple more here. A lot of people with emojis of Elon putting the Texas flag on his Cybertruck, getting about 300 likes apiece. USMC Lady Vet says, quote, get out of every liberal state you can. Don't forget who lives in Delaware, getting 214 likes. So I can't help but think, let's see here. Chanso Bion says, quote, Delaware seems compromised under Joe Biden, getting 844 likes. So as I continue to scroll, I'm not seeing, let's see here, a lot of contrarian statements. A couple people, Greg is saying, quote, come over to Kentucky, and we will welcome you with open arms. I get 917 likes. Let's see here. So pretty much overwhelming support for the poll, and a lot of people saying, go to Texas. So I'm sure he's having the accountants and all the lawyers, everyone crunch the numbers to see what would that cost be. Because again, with a lot of these corporations, a lot of companies, it's just a P.O. box in Delaware. It's almost a joke in terms of you'll have one building with thousands of individual P.O. boxes, so you could have the legal entity there. Tech companies especially, a lot of them, although they're headquartered in California, they're incorporated in Delaware. Now, again, tax laws and business laws are one of the most convoluted, complicated things out there, which is quite frankly why I pay someone much smarter than me to take care of those sides of my businesses. But it's one of those things where even if there used to be a lot more benefits from what I understand. Now it's gotten to the point where if you just operate in a state, you do have to pay some taxes to the state, whereas in prior it is more about incorporation. Very similar to how you've seen sales tax fluctuate, where when the internet first came out, there's no internet tax. Now it's usually based on where the product is shipped to. So it'll be interesting to see, what would that fiscal cost be to Tesla to change their state of incorporation, and would there realistically be any downside to that? I can't but think overall probably be a pretty good idea, and we'll see which direction Elon decides to go. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving me a thumbs up or thumbs down or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.